Okay, I'm sorry about the bad camera angle. I only have one GoPro, so that's as wide as this angle gets. You're going to have to deal with that, I guess. I've got a lot of requests for this video, so I'm going to give you a quick lesson on how I rev match and how I heel toe. Okay, so there's lots of other videos out there explaining this, and a whole bunch of videos that wax poetic about the wonders of driving a manual car. I'm going to skip over all that and get right to how to actually do it. Okay, so downshifting is something that you should do, especially if you are at all interested in performance driving. Now, you can take a look at my feet here. First of all, you're noticing two things. One, when I'm not using the clutch, my foot is not on it. It is on the dead pedal. Hopefully your car has a dead pedal. That will make this a lot easier to do. Okay, so the other thing that you're going to notice is where I place my feet on the pedals. Okay, so that is a downshift right there. I downshifted into third gear. When I'm driving around normally, I don't often downshift into second. You certainly can, and I do it sometimes coming up to a slow turn because third gear doesn't quite have enough torque. But I'm going to show you how to downshift into second, so pay attention here. This is without braking. Okay, so do not touch the gear shift until you are ready to actually move it. None of this put your hand on it and get it ready stuff, that's incorrect. Okay, so the clutch goes in, blip the throttle, down into second, release the clutch. When you blip the throttle, you want to raise the revs to match the engine speed to the road speed in the next gear. Each gear will be different. Downshifting from fourth to third, you may only raise the engine speed 1000 RPM, but downshifting from third to second, you may have to raise the engine speed 1800 RPM, depending on the car. It takes time to learn how much to blip for each gear so that you can downshift smoothly. Okay, that's all there is to it. When I say blip the throttle, that's going to differ from car to car for two reasons. One, certain cars have different throttle responses, and two, my car has a lightened flywheel, so my throttle response and my revs rise very quickly, which means when I rev the throttle, like that, you can hear it revs quite quickly. All right, so I didn't actually downshift there. So here's up into third gear, and I'm going to downshift into second again. Okay, so watch. Clutch in, blip the throttle into second, release the clutch. I release the clutch smoothly, but I release the clutch quickly, as long as you catch the revs at the right time. Now, the principle of this is that you want to elevate the revs using your right foot on the throttle pedal to the revs that the next gear is going to be at. So you have to raise them, because at a certain road speed, you have to match that road speed to the engine speed for the following gear. So if I'm in third gear at 3000 RPM, when I downshift into second gear, I'm going to be just under around 5000 RPM at that same speed. So that's how high I have to move the revs. Okay? So this is just something that I do normally. The advantage to downshifting is twofold. One, you're coming up to a stoplight, you can downshift into a lower gear in case the light turns green or in case the people in front of you move out of the way, and then you can drive away. You don't have to just kind of pull away in the higher gear that you were in. Okay? Don't downshift into first unless you really know what you're doing, because there's a big gap between second and first gear is very torquey. You probably won't get it right, and you're just going to bang on your clutch disc and your flywheel quite severely. Okay, so I stayed in second gear so I can avoid that van. All right, moving on. Let's do this again one more time. Up into third gear. Now you watch my hands don't leave my steering wheel until I'm ready to downshift. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to downshift into second. Okay. So I took my foot off the clutch pedal smoothly, not slowly, but I let it up until the point where I know that it's engaged at the right revs for the lower gear, and then I released it all the way quite quickly. Okay. That is downshifting. Okay. You can use this if you want to pass somebody on the highway, because there's more torque available higher in the rev range, which means if you're cruising around at 3000 RPM and you want to pass somebody, you probably won't have much torque available to you. So you have to downshift into a lower gear, so your revs will rise in a lower gear, right, up to like 5000 RPM or thereabouts. And that will mean that you have more torque available and you can accelerate and pass the person you're trying to pass. Now, heel toe. Okay, this is a racing technique. This is not something that you need to know how to do to drive on the road. Okay, I do it when I'm driving on the track, and I personally do it all the time when I'm driving on the road, just for practice. So heel toeing is something that I promise that you are going to suck severely at when you first start driving, because it's really hard. You have to do two things. You have to brake and rev match with the same foot, because you only have 2 feet. Well, I mean, I hope you only have 2 feet. So when you are braking aggressively on a track, you're going to need to be in a lower gear for the exit of the corner, because you've slowed down and you want to be at the top of the rev range in your power band the whole time. Okay, so a heel toe looks something like this. I'm not going to explain it yet, just watch. Okay, so I braked with my right foot, and I blipped the throttle again with my right foot. The clutch foot is exactly the same as a regular downshift. Okay, so the purpose of this is that you can brake aggressively and downshift at the same time. All right? Now, what I'm actually doing is I'm covering the brake with the ball of my left foot. Okay, so I'm braking like that, and then I actually hit the gas with the side of my right foot, like that. That's the motion. Okay, I'm wearing these shoes. These are like kind of a performance driving shoe, because I can feel where the brake pedal is. If you're wearing big clonking skate shoes, you're gonna have a really hard time feeling your brake pedal out. You need to be able to feel the brake pedal, how much you're pushing, where your foot is on it, so that you know the reference point to the throttle. All right, so watch again. Okay, so I'm not gonna do it there. That's an upshift. Sorry about that. I'm gonna go this way. Whee! All right, so again, what you're going to do, I guarantee what you're going to do at first. I did this, everyone does this. When you try and push the brake down and then blip the throttle with the same foot, you're gonna lurch like this, because you're gonna hit the brake harder than you think you are. It takes a lot of practice to be able to smoothly apply the brake and blip the throttle at the same time. That's the biggest challenge. Okay, so here's a downshift in a second with a heel toe. Pretty simple. Now, the advantage to driving a car like a BMW that is performance oriented is that my throttle pedal and my brake pedal are very close together, and they're spaced properly. Okay, they're spaced properly for performance driving. That means that it's not a huge stretch to go from here to there. In fact, I don't even really have to use my heel. I use the side of my foot. Okay, on my Saab, I actually have to use my heel. So I bring my foot on the brake and I turn my foot and hit the gas with my heel. Okay, it depends on the car. If you're driving a BMW like me, you're just like this. It's nice and easy. Okay, so here, down to second, heel toe, easy. Okay, so we're going to attempt to heel toe from 4th to 3rd to 2nd. Okay, this would be the idea. Under full braking, you would do this. Okay. You do not have to select each gear and release the clutch in each gear. Modern synchronized transmissions allow you to skip gears with minimal wear, as long as you don't do this all the time. If you are concerned about your gears, you can always double clutch downshift when you skip to spin the input shaft to the correct speed for the next gear. But you kind of start to get the idea of what this looks like, okay? So I will heel toe again for you here. Okay, I'm in 3rd gear. I'm going to heel toe to 2nd gear as I'm coming up. And here we go. Brake with my toe, clutch, and back to the dead pedal, and back to the gas pedal. That is how to heel toe downshift. So if you have any questions about that, please put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not a professional racing driver. I'm not a huge experienced teacher in this, right? This is how I downshift. This is how I rev match. This is how I heel toe. So hopefully that has helped you. And for the people that were interested in watching that, I hope I've answered your questions. If I haven't, then just put it in the comments. I'll do my best to answer it. Maybe I can do a follow-up video a little bit later. All right, I will talk to you next time. TH out.